Hi, this is Dave Opdahl. Welcome back to Falcon Financial Group. Today we're going to take a look at the concept of filtering flow fields based on dimensions. So we've already talked in the previous blog posts about how dimensions are analytical tools to be used almost specifically for the general ledger. It can be used for many other things, but they really play out in your ability to slice and dice data, financial data. And so we're going to look at how that happens and hopefully help you understand better how the concept of flow fields works. So let's take a look at our dimensions first. So we're going to come here and we're going to look on dimensions. And I'm sure this is on my home page anyway, but we'll do it anyway. Okay, so I have one here called business group. And if I look at the dimension values, for the business group, I have, there we go, home, industrial, and office. Okay, so we have to keep those in mind, home, industrial, and office. So let's go back. And now we want to take a look at the chart of accounts. And I want to point out a couple of things about the chart of accounts and how it works. Because this is where flow fields come in. Okay. So as this is going to load, what we're going to see here is that the net change and balance fields are typically you can tell a flow field because it's blue, right? And so it's blue, and if I hover over it, it presents an underline, which gives me the ability to drill down on it and see the data that relates to it. So for example, if I look at finished goods here, and if I drill down on this, if I click on it and drill down, what it's going to show me is it's going to show me the GL entries that sum up to that 43,000 for that account. So here I am looking at account 14130. I'm in the GL entries table, and I'm looking at all the detail that supports the 43,000 amount that we saw on the chart of accounts. So let's go back for a second. So what does that mean? Well, what it means is that in Business Central, we have this concept called flow fields. And like I pointed out, if you can usually tell them by the fact that they're blue and they have drill down capability. What that means here is that mechanically, a flow field sits on one table and reads data that sits in calculated data in a lower level table. So for example, this data is dynamically updated every time I open the chart of accounts page. Okay, this shows all posted activity as of now, right? And so what that does is it's actually calculating. That field is calculating the data in that lower level table. So it's going to, this particular one is going to the GL entries table and is calculating all the activity where the account number is 14130. And so it's doing that for all of these accounts every time I open the chart of accounts. Okay, it's a really nice, solid piece of functionality that has been there for a very long time and works very nicely. The key here is that that enables us to view this data. Okay, so our filtering is going to give us the ability to view this data based on an application of one or more dimensions. So let's take a look at that. So in order to filter by dimensions, we want to choose the filter totals by value here, or our selection. So we're going to drop that down. I'm going to go to my filter, and I'm going to see that I have area, budget, business unit, business group. So we're going to go with business group. You can see that I have a date filter, I have a company filter, and then I have all of my dimension filters. So we're going to use business group. And if you recall, there were three options for business group: home, industrial, and office. So I'm just going to select home. Notice now that this amount has changed to $29,172. If I drill down on that amount, once again, this is going to take me to that same GL entries table, And if I open up the filter to present that, we're going to see that it not only is it looking at account 14130, it's looking at only those transactions where the business group is set to home. So let's slide over here a little bit, and we'll see that business group is filtered just for home. Go back a second, and let's just take a second look at that and how that actually can work for us. So if you notice, that's true for this account. It's actually true for all of the accounts, because once I apply this filter to a particular to the chart of accounts, it applies it to all the accounts in the chart of accounts. So I'd be looking at everything that's been posted to the home business group and be able to, drill down on any one of these and see the exact same thing. We'll look at petty cash. Drill down on petty cash. We're going to go to the GL entries table again. Again, that's the lower level transactional table. And once again, we're going to see all the data filtered by GL account and home. Okay. And the beauty of this is that you can do this for multiple filters. So I've got a business group filter. Now let's just say that, for example, I want to put a date filter on here and say I want to see, 02/01/23, 02/28/23, and this will now present me with all the home activity for business group of home for the month of February 23. So again, whenever you're talking about a flow field, remember that it's filterable by dimensions, and it's typically, especially on the chart of accounts, it's filterable by dimensions. Other places it is as well. But remember that it's a dynamically calculated field that sits on kind of a higher level table that's dynamically reading all the activity that supports that number. In other words, it's reading a secondary table and presenting that number every time you open this page. I hope that helps. It's a tough one. I would suggest that you try it out, get comfortable with it, because it really is a tremendous tool.